We came here last time they stayed in the house, in the beach house, and we came here before they left. I showed them the spot, and so I had it ready for them when he got back, you know?
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, man. It'll be ready for you when you arrive as well. What up, what up? Reporting live from Boca Grande Beach. I'm in my condo, 1 bedroom, 2 full bath here in Frente de la Playa. So I'm actually here because one of my clients has returned in town, and he is signing for his own property that he has bought shares in through a simplified stock company, or SAS, kind of like a Colombian LLC. And people have asked me about that process, so I'll go into a little bit about that right now. But otherwise, the process is pretty simple. As I mentioned, it's kind of like an LLC. So you have it formed usually through an attorney, which then allows you to distribute shares or stocks. So in my case, I bought in shares of a SAS through my mentor, who owns a couple of different properties and some other assets, and then I added a couple assets to that as well. And so the collective of all the value of those assets, you then is under one umbrella, under one LLC, or SAS as they call it here in Colombia. It's actually a lot simplified here. You don't have to file a lot of different documents and stuff like that you do in the States. So what happens is you then distribute stock or shares of that company. So therefore, the value of, and also you determine kind of what the value is. A little known fact here in Colombia is that, let's say you own a property. Well, you can sell the property for whatever value you deem it to be. A lot of people find tax loopholes through that, meaning, for instance, let's say I agree to sell my property to you, and you pay $100,000 for this property, but on paper, if you agree to it, I say that I sold it to you for $15,000, in which case my tax liability would only be for $15,000 instead of actually what the actual sale price was. So on the deed, technically it says that you bought the home for $15,000, and so then it's up to you when you go to sell. You're going to kind of need to do that same thing to whoever the next buyer is, because if not, then you'd be stuck with a tax bill. So as far as so as far as a simplified stock company or simplified shareholder company, the SAS, you determine the value, and then you end up buying shares, right? So you can buy 10% of the company, 20%, depending on, and that depends on how many shares that you would end up picking up. So then now you own a percentage of that company, which has different assets in it, or it could only have one. It depends. But that's how I did it. A mentor of mine owned a couple different properties, and he had a previous partner who ended up having to sell through unfortunate events, and it just ended up kind of, I wouldn't say fall in my lap, but it was an opportunity to finally own property, because I hadn't had property. I didn't have kids or property 2 years ago, and now I have a son, 2-year-old son, and I have a shares in a company that has 2 different rental properties and then a couple different other assets. And so yeah, that's how it works. And like I said, my client's in town right now. He just got in town. He's staying here at one of my rental properties, and the last time he was in town, him and his friends stayed in the other rental property. So which is a house. It's a 5-bedroom house, 4 levels, on a different beach here in Cartagena. And so he's here closing in on the property that we have together through a different simplified stock company, and yeah, he's the first. He's the first that's come in to do this. And so he actually used to go to Cuba a lot, and then he came here and he really loved it and decided, obviously he's from Canada, so cold there, and he wants a warmer climate place to come during winter months. And so good investment, especially if you not only looking for relatively great prices in an emerging value, but also if you plan when visiting that location for the long term. If you plan on making multiple trips for multiple years, then it really becomes a really great value. And that's kind of how I ended up realizing the value as well, because I wasn't sold in my first few years here on actually buying property, but it was due to that opportunity and the fact that I know that I will be coming here for probably for the rest of my life. That's for at least a little bit of a part of the year. Then it becomes worth it. Come along for the ride. I'll be sharing more. Stay tuned. YouTube, Fiesta Caravana. X, Twitter, Fiesta Caravana. ClubCaravana.com. That's Club CaribANA.com. See you guys. Ciao.